Yeah, I'm going to go over the zapping thing a little bit more because, well, first off, I don't use the professional $500 words, and I don't wear the glasses, to hide behind the glasses. Like, glasses means you're extremely intelligent, of course. It's all a sales pitch. This is the dictionary of $500 words. You're not going to hear that from me because I talk plain common sense. You know, uh, when Kalashnikov developed a rifle, just to ad lib here a little bit, it wasn't something overly complex. It was simple and it worked. Beauty is simple and it works. So the zapping stuff, basically the theory is it may kill some kind of bacteria and some kinds of pathogens, but basically the patent says, and it's based upon a lot of other research and patents going all the way back to the 1800s. The AMA or current AMA, not the older one. Back in the day, they used to use electrical devices, to heal, basically, and zap parasites. They did. Then they said it was snake oil. But if you start thinking about how the white blood cell works, it's actually kind of a chemical and electrical reaction. And the body does have little minor amounts of electricity that make it operate. Now, the patent, though, was just actually discovered in it. They had a couple patents, actually. It was Dr. Lyman, Dr. Cowley. There's several other doctors. It was at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine in New York City in the early 1990s. They discovered a particular patent. And actually, the patent originally was for HIV specifically. HIV, the immune virus that causes problems with the immune system and all that type of stuff. But they found out, Dr. Beck, PhD, a physicist, found out later that it actually worked on a lot of other things. He developed a device, you could put it on the outside of the body without actually trying to electrocute the blood by taking it out of the body or implanting a device. He found a way to do it on the outside of the body. Now, I like these ones that are made down in by a former Texan in Ecuador. This thing, like if you turn it on, you can see it's got a red indicator light. And if I disconnect this, see the light's off. When I put this back on, this is like a little strip of cloth with a metal stainless steel strip in there. The cloth is wet with saline solution or tap water, so it conducts electricity. And when you connect it, you put it over the artery on your wrist. What happens is it goes through my body and it goes out the other wrist and makes a connection. And he's got a red light that indicates that when that red light is on, it's in the range of the patent, and you turn it up too high, you could feel it pulsing. And I'm sure it still it causes the viruses not to attach to healthy cells, but you don't need to turn it up that high. You might want to turn it up to near the end of the red light range. Now, he's been selling these so much, I think he's been out of stock a lot because they're in stock, they're not in stock, and all this kind of stuff. I like them better. It's got the indicator light, also has a 10 hertz setting. You can set it different ways. And I went into other videos on what that does, but there's also another one I got. This is from Silver Smoke Research. This is the exact replica of the device that Beck uses. This is right. They both are, but this is a little simpler, but a little less money, but it still works good. The only problem is, I find with it, is that when you give you this wire, it's got for the same wrist setup. In other words, it's supposed to go on the wrist like this. One vein on this side, one vein on that side, and that's where you connect it. Now, I'm pretty damn certain that Beck did this because I could see feedback on the internet from people saying, maybe you'll have a heart attack with this, with the electricity going through like this. Well, first off, the electricity that's produced in this unit is way less than a TENS unit, transcutaneous nerve stimulation. That's been endorsed by the FDA for years. This is way less than that. TENS units are safe. Now, I'm going to say this. I think I heard people say it works, the Beck protocol works. Some people say it don't work, and I think there's a lot of room for error when you put it on the same wrist. That's using common sense. Because basically, you're supposedly trying to zap into the artery itself, right? Not across the capillaries, across the skin, or if you have a little water, you're actually going to be zapping right across here, not getting much into the blood itself. Now, the best way to do it is to set it up ankle to ankle. Little common sense, because you're using a hell of a lot more blood volume, is actually getting the electricity through it. Now, if you're going to use this unit, the one from Silver Smoke Research, it's a really good unit, man. I think it's nothing wrong with it at all. I mean, it's got the original 4 hertz setting. It doesn't have the 10 hertz and 40 hertz setting. The damn thing is correct to Beck's specifications, so no problem there. It has like an indicator light when you turn it on, and that's how Beck had it. But when you plug it in, the light goes off. So if you disconnect one of these wires or something breaks on one of these wires, you're not going to know it. You know, that's one of the problems with it. But I think the real problem with this is it's not the unit itself, it's the method. So if you buy one of these from Silver Smoke Research, I personally would recommend that you set it up ankle to ankle. Like I have this wrist to wrist. Don't even do that. Use ankle to ankle. Lengthen these wires. And you can see I lengthened the wires that are like these. I lengthened wires already, see? All it is some heat shrink tape and, I wrapped twisted the ends of the wire together, put some solder on it, heat shrink tape. And you could just twist the wires together and tape them up with some good tape. I mean, it doesn't have to be that super good of a connection, because you're not pulling on this, and it's pretty strong. And just lengthen the wires with the stock cable that comes with the ones from Silver Smoke Research, and use it ankle to ankle. That would be the way to do it, because I think a lot of the problems are with the Beck protocol is when you're using the same rest method. There's way a lot of room for error. And actually, Dr. Beck, from what I read before, he did use the ankle-to-ankle method. And, there's another thing I've been picking up on. Dr. Beck avoided people that were constantly, they had to have a problem. Something's wrong here, It's like, you just want people that are going to be gung-ho, are healthy, and want to stick with the program and do it. Now, I think there are people out there that tried this Beck protocol, and they said it didn't seem like it was working, and they were using the same wrist method. But Dr. Beck didn't always use that method. He used the ankle-to-ankle method, too. So that could be the problem. And I know why he used the same wrist method, because, oh man, the engineers come out with the $50, $500 words, every reason why this is a problem, that's a problem. Well, you know what? I think you're actually defeating something. Say it works. Let's just make an assumption that this electrification of the blood works to kill or minimize the replication of pathogens and viruses and stuff. Let's just assume it works. But you got to get it zapped into the blood. So how the hell are you going to possibly do that every time correctly if you're using the same wrist? It's very easy to make a lot of errors. I mean, even if you have a little bit of sweat on your skin going across here, or even not, you might still be getting a lot of the electricity just jumping from one electrode to the other electrode, like if you have this set up like this. Now, I'm not going to fault Silver Smoke Research to actually make it. They make their device in conformity exactly the way Beck finalized it. Dr. Beck finalized it, right? But the problem is, I think Dr. Beck was getting a lot of heat from people for every little thing there was. So he made it easier to do, more convenient. And, I've been using this. I'm showing you right now. I got this thing set up wrist to wrist. I work out with it like this wrist to wrist. I work out with ankle to ankle and wrist to wrist simultaneously. Been doing that for 3 hours a day. Been using ankle to ankle and wrist to wrist overnight. And, I've been using wrist to wrist method for years. And supposedly this is, some people are saying you could possibly have an influence on your heart rhythm. I don't know what the hell they're talking about, to tell you the truth. But if you're using ankle to ankle, the blood flow is going up your legs and through your groin. So it's not even going near your heart. So, and then it's a device that is much, much weaker than a TENS unit, which is approved by the FDA, which is totally safe. So I'm like, And herein lies why Dr. Beck avoided some people. You know, because I can look at anything under a microscope, and I can find something wrong with it. Why I'm not going to do it. You know. But if you think you need this break protocol, and you're wondering like you have to use it for something, whatever, say you have to use it, you think it's possibly worthwhile. I'm going to tell you, I think sincerely, use the ankle method. And if you're using the soda silver smoke research one, I mean, it doesn't have like the indicator light on it, but it's good. It works fine. Just turn it up about 2/3 the way. That should be right around about right. That's all. And set it up ankle to ankle. You'll have to take these wires and lengthen them a little bit. That's all. But that's not hard to do. I mean, it's only like $5 or something. It's nothing really to do that. It's really easy. $5, I mean, probably $2. So, I just want to make that recommendation because, I think that's of the people that are actually really attempting this Beck protocol that are not getting good results. It's probably the method. And I think Beck changed this method later on. I think when he originally was using this on people that will collaborate all these different problems, he was using the ankle-to-ankle method. So that's real important. That's all I'm trying to say, man. You do what you want. I mean, I'm not telling anybody you got to do it that way. It's just my personal suggestion. And I'm just saying, I've been doing the wrist-to-wrist method for years, and I don't know what the hell is it. I can't see there's a problem with it. I've been working out with it. I mean, all kinds of blood's pumping around. I don't know. It doesn't seem to bother me. I don't know what the deal is, but I don't know. But sometimes I think some people find it in their head. They think they have a problem because they imagine there's a problem. It could be that too. So, and I'm just trying to, my message really for the few because I think the majority aren't going to get it. Winston Churchill once said that it's the average man does stumble upon the truth once or twice in his lifetime. And then when he trips over the truth and he stumbles upon it, he quickly picks himself up, dusts himself off, and he runs in the other direction. So don't be average. Be a 1%er and think for yourself, man. And, use common sense. You don't need to be like, is there something wrong with it? I don't know. Maybe, or listen to somebody that puts out the $500 words. Oh, they're correct because they're using $500 words. They got a really glossy presentation. I don't know. I'm using common sense. That's just how it is. Common sense goes a long way.